Well, we're in front of a distress sale situation now, and I think that it varies. And it depends, there's a lot of factors, but neighborhood, location, as they say in real estate, location, location, location. So for example, you may find on Cape Cod that there is a dramatic defect in value. A house like this in a neighborhood like this may bring things down 27%. But if you're in a major city like Boston, you're not going to see that. The absorption of that distress sale is relatively quick, and the effect on it is relatively minor. For example, when the market on Cape Cod, which is a pure secondary market for the most part, was off 25%, Boston was only off 9%. So it's really a locational issue before it is anything else as to the effect on that.
What does a foreclosure do to the surrounding neighborhood, the surrounding area?
Well, again, let's differentiate between a foreclosure and a short sale. If it's handled through a short sale, in other words, the foreclosure proceeding has not taken place, that's the deepest devaluation of the property. When handled properly through a short sale, there is a direct negotiation with the owner, with the bank, and that lessens the blow to value to not only the property for both the bank and the current owner, but also the neighborhood. So a short sale is going to have a lesser effect and be a better process versus a foreclosure where you're going to see the bank take it back and then it becomes a hot potato on their books and they need to get rid of it. And when somebody needs to get rid of something, that's the deepest discount and not good for the neighborhood. And a foreclosure not being lived in can absolutely have the broken window effect where it really begins to become a dilapidated property and bring all of the value down much more so than a short sale that, as you can see, is being well maintained. Well, this gentleman is gainfully employed for many years, an upstanding member of the community, and given the economic downturn, the ability to carry the mortgage and the adjustment in his wages has put him in a difficult spot. So he did the right thing and reached out. He's a friend of mine. He reached out and he asked for some help, and we began to negotiate with the bank. And we told them that we would be in a short sale position. They're all for that. They'd rather go through that process. So what happens is we will present all of the financial information as to why this person is in this situation, and for all of the right reasons, unfortunately not good ones, he's here. He's where he's at. And as long as that's presented properly and all diligent effort is made to still bring the highest and best offer for the home, the bank will absolutely be in coordination and lockstep with us to get this done.
What are the federal programs that have popped up? $50 billion in TARP funds supposed to go towards mortgage modification, and on the state level, they just passed things to stop predatory lending. I mean, can that help these folks?
Sure. Well, unfortunately, as far as any sort of stimulus, no. The first-time homebuyer tax credit was phenomenal in its effect to help situations like this. What you really want in a situation that's distressed is a white knight. So who is that white knight? Well, in the case to hold the bottom of the market, that's your first-time homebuyer. So when you give that white knight armor, when you give them $8,000, $6,000, whoever they may be and whatever they may be given, that's the armor they need to go play white knight and bail somebody out. Unfortunately, there's no direct TARP money that's going to flow down to a gentleman, a family, whomever that's lost their job or lost some wages. So you need the right people in the field. Unfortunately, in the field, you don't see TARP money. What you see is real grassroots getting it done, selling it for whatever the market will bear, and that's going to vary directly upon where it is in the circumstances, even down to the neighborhood level. What I like to say is, if you're going to bring the water level up, don't bring it here, because when the disaster happens, you're underwater. It's okay to go out and borrow money and leverage, because in this day and age, with inflation, nobody would be able to afford a house. So clearly lending and borrowing is a necessary part. But it's still important to try to put down as much money as you can. And if you can't, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're only going to put down a low down payment, 3% with an FHA loan, 0 down with USDA, that's okay. But just make sure in conjunction with your income, you can afford it, including during crisis times. No doubt about it, the first thing to be jettisoned in a distressed market or a rough economy is the secondary home. It's either put off or it's gotten rid of, whatever it may be. So when you have a marketplace that's driven by consumerism, we really have no industry on Cape Cod. So the industry here really is that consumerism as that influx of people increases during the better weather months. All of the people who garner extra income from that consumerism, once they lose that secondary income, that puts everything from a median household income in a much dire straight position than it was before. So once you lose that spending, that secondary, discretionary spending, that's the real push down on a place like Cape Cod or any secondary